All right, we're rocking and rolling here. And I have Amber Lunghi, another Italian, on my podcast. Go figure. But the interesting thing about her is I have no idea truly who she is. I usually have a lot of people on that I grew up with, I've known, or was a colleague or somebody in the entertainment, fitness, or anything, anyone that I've known throughout the years. And this is the first time I've actually had the honor to work, talking with Amber is what I should say. And I want to thank you for being on here with me.
And thank you for having me on.
Oh, no, this is going to be great because I don't know what our chemistry is going to be like. Like I said, I've never talked to you. The only thing I do know is my girlfriend, Rhea, she loves you so much. She thinks you're wonderful. She's amazed at what you've accomplished throughout your life. All I really saw was photos of you, which was unbelievable. How much weight you lost, the type of condition you ended up getting in. And that's what we're going to basically get into today, right?
Yes, for sure. Ready to talk about that.
All right. Yeah. So I just did another one similar to this. I'm going to put a photo of my old friend, Mike Mango, who went from almost 300 pounds down to 185. We kind of got serious, but we also want to make it fun. We're going to call the title Going From Fat to Fit.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. Yeah. I use that hashtag a lot.
Oh, do you really? I had no idea.
Hashtag, yes.
We had a bunch of different ones. I thought we could use that one. And he lost a lot of weight. And that's how I ended up finding out about you. Because Rhea said, because she knows Mike Mango, and said, hey, you should see what Amber's done. And I said, and she started showing me pictures and I was blown away. Because a lot of time I talk about a lot of people that lose a lot of weight. They have their ups and downs, right? So you'll see a lot of before and after photos, but then go a year fast forward, what type of shape are they in? Did they keep the weight off? Did they stay in shape? Because a lot of people, including myself years ago, had a lot of weight fluctuating issues, right? So that's what I really want to cover with you. So kind of start where you started, how you gained all that weight. Because I like to hear the past, because a lot of people, it's hard to say you go from 100 pounds to all of a sudden you're 300 pounds hypothetically, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, just stop me if I ramble, but honestly, I've always had an issue with my weight. I can remember being in second grade and telling my mom, Mommy, I look pregnant, because my stomach was larger and, all my friends were really skinny. And so then I of course went through puberty. So I lost some weight when I got taller. And then, all your friends are eating fast food. Their metabolisms are so great. Okay. So I think when I hit high school, I was about 150. Graduated high school, I was kind of on the up. I was at like 180.
Can I stop you for 1 sec, my dear? Do you think a lot of the weight that you gained or growing up, because I went through this being in an Italian household, and a lot of foods that we ate, and we were always, nothing against my grandparents or my mother, my aunts, they were always trying to feed us. And I have cousins that are much younger than me that lived with my grandmother who gained a lot of weight that are obsessed with fitness. Do you think that's something you may have grew up eating a lot of pastas, or was it just something that you were just your genetics?
Yeah, well, I think it's a little bit of both, but I mean, it was comfort food. Like it was spinach dip, zucchini fritters, triple like mashed potatoes, lasagna, pasta. I mean, everything bad for you was what we really ate. And okay. Both my parents worked. So also too, when I would come home, I kind of had to fend for myself.
Okay.
And back then, in the late 90s, I mean, there wasn't YouTube. I had a pager. There wasn't as much access to all this guidance and nutrition back then like there is now. So you're thinking sometimes too, like I'm making a salad, but I poured like a whole bottle of dressing on it. So that wasn't really a healthy salad I just made myself. So a lot of that had to factor in too,
sure.
With what I grew up eating and then what your friends eating and fast food. And then you're going out too. So
right.
That ended up playing a big factor in a lot of my weight gain. When I got married too, when I met my husband, I was 180. Like I always feel like a lot of people that have gone through weight in their life, like can attribute a journey based on what weight they were. So when I got married, I was 190, and then I kind of went up. I went up to about 220, and then that's where the roller coaster started again. Yeah. I went down to 180. And then I went back up to 220, and it was kind of like a back and forth through my entire 20s. And I think when I was about 27, I remember stepping on my dad's scale and I saw 302. And I was like, oh my gosh, I couldn't even believe I had gotten to that weight.
Right.
And honestly, instead of even doing anything at that point, I went and ate comfort food, like, oh, this is going to be my last meal.
Right.
And then I did. I ended up losing down to 215.
Okay.
And then I started going back up to 250, and that was in 2014 when I was still in San Francisco.
All right.
And then I got the job opportunity to move to Texas.
Okay.
And that's where I was like, I need to get my life in order. 2015 is in January is when my journey started and stayed that way instead of a 3-month spin or a 6-month spin. I think 6 months was the longest I had ever done before. So that's kind of how it all, I honestly can't even tell you how I gained all that weight. It's just you eat and then all of a sudden you don't even realize it.
All right, let's go back a little bit. So before we go on your journey,
Yeah.
did you have children in between gaining and losing this weight? Because no. Okay. And also a lot of people, as you know, after you get married, a lot of people gain weight. Mike Mango gained, I think, between 60 and 80 pounds after he got married, which is, I gained probably 20 pounds. I got up to like 250. I was already 230. I worked out like an animal, but I can see I was kind of caught between being big and, being big, but also slipping into, and I see this with a lot of ex-bodybuilders or powerlifters or whatever, I kind of call it fit fat, where you're fit a little bit from weight training, but you're starting to get that belly. I realized it when I was in Vegas where I was getting a suit tailored. And he came out with 2 new belts for me, and he was a shorter guy and the belts were as tall as him. Yeah. And I said, you mean my waist? I said, listen, those belts are way too big. He goes, no, these are for, from a 38 to a 42 or 44. And I said, oh my God, I always thought my waist was like a 35, 36, right? But in your case, to go from say 220 to 300, obviously your clothes are changing more than anything, right? Or were they not? Because I always tell my father's theory with gaining weight and losing weight, which is pretty genius. He never allowed himself to gain weight. He judged everything by his closet. So as soon as he couldn't fit in his pants, he would back up on food, right? As soon as he couldn't fit in a certain shirt, he knew he had to lose weight. In your case, how did you not really know gaining all that weight? Your wardrobe changing or?
So I will say where I started to when I was working, I was a manager at the store inside JCPenney, and we had a uniform or a costume as they called it.
I gotcha.
And so it was, you could sort of get away with a lot, and it was sort of stretchy material at the time.
Right. My daughter works there. I know those. Yeah.
Yeah, right. It was a little different back then, but you can kind of wear your own pants, even though you weren't supposed to, but we all kind of had to. And so it was a little bit looser, and I would swear like it was almost like I would refuse to get a different size. I was like, I'm going to squeeze into these no matter what it takes, if it takes some space underneath or whatever it might be. So I wore a uniform a lot, and then at home you're wearing pajamas. And if we did go out, it was usually just a friend's house. So I was wearing just very comfortable clothes. So I wasn't really wearing jeans. The last time I ever bought a pair of jeans, back then I was a size 26. And after that, I just didn't buy anymore. I just decided to wear loose fitting, more baggy style clothes like sweatshirts and things, because that just made me feel comfortable. Sure. So even though I was gaining this weight, it was almost like I was in denial of it.
Were you also, so you went from, like you said, 220 or whatever to 300. Did you catch yourself sometimes eating more, let's say, or were you kind of eating the same? You were just gaining weight continuously? Because you hear all these different stories, right? Of your diet or nothing changed, but you just kept continuously.
No, I snuck food. I was,
okay.
I was a very sneaky eater, and I tell my husband now, because he's a personal trainer too, but I tell him the stories now because I would hide it from him.
Gotcha.
I would go to McDonald's. I liked variety. So, and it was an addiction. I was also a smoker. I smoked 2 packs a day. So I would go grab McDonald's. I'd go grab Carl's Jr. I would literally go to each place and grab what I want, maybe eat something in the car, and then bring home what I was technically only going to eat, like with my husband. Or if I had a day off from work, I would go pick up food, pick up donuts, and then throw it away before anybody could catch me.
You're
So
a
I was
closet eater. It's like an eating addiction, right? I mean, you have an addiction to eating.
yeah, it really wasn't. It was something that I had to get a hold of, because whether I was happy, sad, in between, it was food and cigarettes, honestly, that I couldn't stay away from. So, yeah.
When I was heavier, or I'm not that by any means thing, when I was heavier, I remember too, my identity, because I always eat in Italian restaurants where I'm always bringing food or whatever. Everybody put me with food. They would see me and immediately want to be like, Rich, let's go eat. Or Rich, I got to take you to this restaurant. You come to someone's house, ready, Rich, I'm ordering the best pizza in town. I was almost hand in hand with anything related to food.
Yes.
Right. And your identity becomes with food no matter what. It still really is, which I have no problem with. Mike Mango, who I was describing you earlier, I'm just bringing him up. His identity, he was going to do a reality show because he was always eating. And that was more public, obviously, with friends, family members. Yours is more secretive, right? Which I didn't go, that's very interesting. And of course, you're going to be eating more food. I didn't want to sound stupid, like you're gaining weight. But I do find it interesting, though, some people, though, don't necessarily always change their diets. They get lazier, right? Mm-hmm. Sometimes, and they just keep gaining weight. I have a cousin like that who doesn't eat that much food, but she's always gaining weight, which is very interesting in metabolisms, as you know, genetics and age, all that changes.
It does. Like a lot of my friends too, who sometimes had no issues eating kind of whatever you wanted when you're younger, like in your 20s, and now as we're all in our 30s, you start to notice the metabolism shift, and you can't eat like you used to without either putting in some work, or you kind of have to change your diet. It's kind of funny how that happens.
Yeah, life is a roller coaster for a lot of people, especially like say you're in high school, but I know, a lot of people go to college, as you know, it's time to party. They eat all that fast food shit. They go up and they get out of college and they want to get married or whatever, they want to get fit to get, whatever. And then they lose the weight, then they get married, then they go back up and right. And then women, a lot of times, if you throw them into it, then they get pregnant, they gain the weight, then they lose it. Life is a roller coaster of ups and downs with weight. And people don't want to sometimes admit that, right? In my opinion.
I think the hardest part is admitting with any issues, any type of addiction to anything that you have, the hardest part is admitting you have a problem. Yes. And I never wanted to admit I had a problem with food. I had it to everyone's perception, minus of course my weight, but in your eyes was that I had it under control, because I don't know why I'm gaining all this weight. You guys see what I'm eating. That was my mentality, even though I was really sneaking the food. So
yeah, you're bullshitting everybody else, I always said, except yourself, because you can't lie to your body, right? Obviously what's coming in, it's coming in, like, right? You can either burn it off or you're not. It's coming in.
And unfortunately with food, it shows. Like you can't, even though you're trying
lie.
You can't really hide it because the weight's coming somewhere, right? Yeah.
What was the aha moment besides, so you're at 300 pounds, right, on the scale, you kind of had the aha moment, but there's a big difference between, as you know, a lot of people going, oh my God, I got to lose weight. This is it. But then there's a moment where you kind of went into action. What was your, let's start with that now. Let's go on the journey. What did you be like, I got to join a gym, or I got to diet? What is this?
So when I hit that 300-pound mark, like I said, I lost weight and I'm down to 215. When I weighed myself and I was back up at 250, I was like mortified. I was like, I can't do this to myself again. My energy level was starting to go back down. I was tired all of the time. And I really think when I got the opportunity to come to work in Texas, I was like, this has to be a fresh start for me. I need to use this as my fresh start.
I got you.
Yeah.
So you used a location and a date.
Yeah, that was like, no, this is going to be the new me.
What year was that?
And my husband too, by the way, during that time when I was back up at 250, my husband's always been in shape and fit. He kind of had that too, where he was going into bodybuilding. So he was sort of getting that little tummy. But other than that, he's always been very fit our whole marriage. So he got into personal training towards the end of 2014. And a part of me too was like, how can I be a personal trainer's wife and be 250 pounds? Like, I just had to get it together for my health, personal, feeling better, and just feeling strong in my marriage too, and feeling like I didn't want to go places with him because almost like I was embarrassed
Mm-hmm.
that I was his wife because of the way I looked. And that's not the way it should be, even though he's always been amazing and compliment, he never made me feel bad. He always uplifted me, but it
Right.
was the way I was feeling. So that was really what got me to be like, I have to do this and I can't stop. So when we moved, I started, but I never went to the gym. I was actually really
Okay.
intimidated by the gym. So I started just working out at home and trying to figure out how to do like home workouts and just getting started. I started meal prepping, cooking my own food. And kind of what I always tell people too is pick 3 things to start with. Don't go crazy.
Sure.
So I was like, I'm giving up soda. I'm giving up fast food, and I'm going to work out 3 times a week. And that was my start for the first 3 months. And
It's
that
an
got
honest approach.
yeah, and that
Did
got
you
me
give
down.
up cigarettes at the beginning or not?
Huh?
Did
What
you
was
give
that?
up your cigarettes or were you still smoking through your
No.
workouts?
So my husband, that's the one thing. He hated my smoking, and I told him I can't quit right now because if
Okay.
I quit right now, I'm just going to eat. I said, so I need to do this first and get my health going. And then I said, I promise I'm going to quit. I quit that October. So I started my journey January 2015. And in October 2015, I quit cold turkey.
Wow.
So,
Okay.
so that came later. That's
Yeah.
really how my journey started. And this time I just sort of stuck with it. And instead of looking at it, because I used to look at it where, okay, cool, 3 months, I've lost like 20, 30 pounds, but then you
Yes.
have a bad week
Of course.
or you don't lose that much weight. And that's what would set me back, which I think happens to a lot of
Everyone.
people.
That's an honest approach. No one's going to be perfect.
And it just does. And so in my head, I'm like, okay, but the next 3 months, I could be down another 20 pounds instead of up 20 pounds. So I have to understand that this is going to be a slow process because I'm not going to just diet like I did my whole life. Weight Watchers, that's not enough food for me. You know
Right.
what's happening? I need food. I need a big plate of food and something to fill me. So it was figuring out, how do I get a big plate of food? How do I get satisfied? Because I'm not going to sit there and eat things I don't like. So the first 3 months was learning that. The next 3 months was sort of kind of honing on that and figuring out how I could prep. And then that really stuck with it, especially after 6 months. That's when people really started noticing. So it's almost like that accountability piece. They're noticing I can't go back up now, and I'm feeling really good. So that's kind of how it all started and stuck.
Well, that's wonderful. I think too, people don't want to say it, but social media has a big impact on our lives, right? Because the more maybe you're on Facebook, Insta, and all these places with your husband, the more you're starting to see yourself socially.
I wouldn't take photos. It's very rare. That's why it's really hard for me to find so many before photos. I have very few. I would be the one that would say, I'll take the picture. I don't know. I don't need to be in it. I'll take the picture. So there's even a lot, very minimal photos of me and my husband because I just didn't want to take photos. So, and now of course I feel a little, better about that, but it's quiet insecurities that I think sometimes, at least for me, I had. So I needed to build my own personal confidence up instead of just making it like a show. Like everything was like a show, like your customer service space, as you call it.
Sure.
And I needed that to be my real, like that's how I really feel. So, yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, I try to tell people when it comes to gaining or losing weight, the slower you do it, I believe the better off you are. I tell people try to lose even at the beginning 1 pound a month. Don't be obsessed with it. And you're most likely going to lose at least 1 pound a week. But what I realized over the years for me, what my weight going up and down is the skin, which I saw the photos of you, the skin stretching when you become very heavy, the stretch marks. And then when you lose a lot of weight, especially quickly, I mean, it's shocking to the mind, the body, everything. So in your case, you are very extreme, but a lot of people usually only want to lose, say, 15 to 25 pounds, right? Do it slowly, consistently. While doing it, learn what works for you and what doesn't work for you. A lot of people don't like to work out. Well, try walking, cycling. Some people love to work out. You got to realize if you're going to hit weights, things it may take more time, all these different things.
Yeah, it's very true. Like you have to find out what you enjoy doing because I hated working out. Like I had to force myself and yell at myself. You're kind of swearing at yourself in your head to get up. Like I can be watching this Netflix show or just get up and work out for 30 minutes. Like it's a lot of mental.
Sure.
but yeah, like, and especially what I'm especially seeing from being many, many sizes, the lower weight that you are, when you just want to lose like those 10, 20, even 30 pounds, those
Right.
come off a lot slower because you're already closer. The heavier you are,
Absolutely.
that weight comes off. And that's where I see where you get those halting points. Because as you start to get lower, the weight doesn't come off as fast, even though you're doing pretty much as similar as you were doing before,
Yeah. It's
because you're
flatlining.
yeah. So I feel like sometimes too, the people that want to lose like 10, 20 pounds find it almost harder and more kind of finding that momentum because you're not seeing what you feel like you should be seeing sometimes on the scale when it will happen and come.
Right. You got to find what works best for you. Again, regarding even fitness wise, if you don't find something you like, you're never going to stick with it. Right. I mean, it's just a reality. You can, if you don't like going to a gym, like you said, you're intimidated. It ain't going to work for you if you went and started working out with me. Maybe it would, maybe it wouldn't. But if you're more interested in saying just working out at home, you know what I mean? Again, that's going to work best for you. But then again, a lot of people just have to admit they want to lose weight, but they don't want to work out. I have a daughter that doesn't even like to sweat, right?
Yeah,
So,
no, so true.
right?
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't want to look like a god. A lot of guys don't want a six pack, but they also don't want to be bloated and feel like a piece of shit either, right?
No, it's so true. And that's why too, like I feel, and a part of the reason why I had, it was very hard for me at first to share my story on social media when I first started. And I didn't even have an Instagram until about 7 months in where I was like, I'm going to start posting photos because maybe what I do can maybe help someone else. Because I always thought if I could do it, anyone could do it. So maybe if someone sees that, maybe I could help motivate or be a support for them. So that's kind of why I started even Instagram in the first place, like started to post photos. But it's definitely just it's rough out there to stick with things and find what you like. But I found for me too in the beginning, circuit workouts were great because they went by so quickly. Now I love going to the gym though. Like me and my husband, that's like almost like a hobby of ours now, except now with the virus, we can't,
Right.
but we manage here. But it took a while. It took me like 2 years before I set foot in an actual gym. And a year it took me to get to the apartment gym and 2 years to go to an actual gym. But everyone just has to find their own way and path. But I think it's good to know that even at home, you could find something to do, even if it's for 30 minutes and you don't break the hugest sweat, getting
Mm-hmm.
yourself like going with it is just, it's something, and there's plenty of things to do at home that I don't think we realize that you can.
Yeah, and I also think a lot of people too, being thin doesn't always mean you're healthy, as you know. You know what
Right.
I mean too. Or you've lost a lot of weight doesn't mean you did it the right way or the healthy way. I think sometimes, and I have even a lot of family members that I have in Italy, some younger guys and girls. A lot of them are very thin, but I could tell they're not very fit and they don't work out necessarily. They may look good in clothes.
Yeah.
I always found it quite interesting. There's got to be a balance there between, being at a certain weight you're comfortable with, but also being strong, right? Or
No,
being in some type of shape, not just being thin for the sake of being thin. Um,
yeah, and I think that's what we were talking about. And I think I forgot when I was rambling there for a second was that you don't have to have like a six pack, and that's
yeah,
why I was sharing my story. Like you can be thin, you can get healthy, and you don't have to have muscles. You don't have to be toned. It's just about getting yourself feeling better because too, as we get older, running is great for the heart. Working out is great for the heart. It's good to keep you healthy, good for helping you like live longer. Of course we're going to eat foods that are not so great for us, but it's all in moderation, right? Like it's not eating that every day.
absolutely.
It's being able to enjoy life while keeping healthy so you can live longer. That's what it's about. And yeah, some people want to have a six pack and be toned, and that's
Sure.
awesome. And it's also great if you whatever healthy means to you. That's great too. So
I
yeah.
think with shows like The Biggest Loser, nothing against them, God bless, they help a lot of people, or a lot of things people see on social media, it it looks, I don't want to say intimidating, but a lot of it also, actually, it is intimidating, but it also is unrealistic, I think, a lot of times for people. And if you want to lose weight or get muscular or whatever, you got to realize it's a lifelong kind of journey. I think people put deadlines on that are too short or unrealistic because they saw a YouTube guy in 6 months lose 50 pounds and I look like this. Now I look like this, or I ate this. I lost weight. Now I took this type of supplement and I'm this. they have to realize a lot of that is bullshit. And they have to also understand each of us as an individual lives an entirely different life. I talk about it all the time. None of us have the same exact job, sleeping patterns, eating habits, family lifestyle. Everyone does everything differently. So what works for somebody may not work for you. What works for you may not work for someone else, right? And I don't
No,
think a lot of people get that. I
and
really
no,
don't.
like I think there was a lot of those weight loss shows that I used to watch too, and it makes you think like you're doing something wrong if you're
Right.
not getting the results like they are. But you have to remember they're on a show, they're giving strict diets,
Right.
and anyone who goes on strict diets, those are the things I don't highly recommend,
Me
because
neither.
you will never be able to realistically continue that. And
Most likely.
how I
Yes.
was always up and down, because you go on a diet and then you come off the diet. So it's like, how do you incorporate what you already enjoy doing? And then it's truly, it sounds cheesy, but it is truly like a lifestyle
It
change.
is. It
Really,
is.
it's figuring those things out. And
Yeah, and giving up, I talk about this all the time. One of the reasons I worked out so hard in my entire life is so I was able to eat the foods I wanted to eat. It's not just an image issue.
yeah.
So I used to call it reverse anorexiaism, because no matter how big I got, I always felt like the puny kid. It was just an insecurity. And I think a lot of people who work out have that. They don't admit it, especially bodybuilders, powerlifters, or because they want to prove their strength, prove their whatever that is, I think, which pushes us to go harder and further to the extreme.
No, I agree. And that's why all like there's workout disorders, eating disorders. It's unfortunate and sad, but it's just because of what you see on social media and everything. And that's sort of why I wanted to get out there, is to be honest about things. And
Right.
there's moments where the month you're not going to gain any weight, or lose, sorry, you shouldn't,
Lose
but
anyway. Right. Sure.
but that's a celebration. Like,
Sure.
that's your first month that you didn't gain a pound or you didn't gain anything and you remain the same, and you look at the foods you ate that month, because
Yeah.
that's probably most likely why you stayed the same. But
Right.
then think about the future you're going to have, because that's going to be your every month when you hit your goal. So life, you can have your tacos and you could have whatever it might be, and be healthy and be okay. So yeah.
I talk about this too on my crazy podcast when I do my own personal ones. And that is, besides your family, I'd say the most important relationship you have is with food. It is such a form of your identity, because from a child, you're being programmed all the way up to an adult. And that makes you, no matter what, feel good. It can make you feel bad. But when you, like you said, dieting wise, I think it's so ridiculous that a lot of people start these unrealistic diets and they may lose weight off them. But if you plan on going back, eventually you're going to most likely go back to your comfort level of food. You have to learn what's going to work with that first and foremost. If it's backing up on the pasta, eating at a different time of the day, maybe certain workouts, burning off more calories, whatever the case may be. Now, if you plan on being a professional, even if you're a professional athlete, for instance,
Yeah.
you look at a lot of them, even after they're done, they gain a lot of weight, right? I mean, because I think no matter who you are, you're going to go to your go-to, what you love food-wise, right? And it's an ambiance, the whole thing. And it's hard to avoid your family. You're not, you're going to be going to weddings, showers, baptisms, christenings in our case, and other family events like Thanksgiving, Christmas Eve, Easter, all these things. You're going to be always kind of eating. You're going to be going to parties. So when people do these, again, diets where you don't think you're going to ever eat wings again on a Sunday watching football, you're bullshitting yourself. You think you're not going to eat pizza. You're always kind of stop bullshitting yourself. Instead of eating a whole pizza, eat a half or eat 2 slices. You can still get your fix a little bit in my
No,
eyes,
true. I know, I agree. And that's actually so, because I started online personal training. So, and a few of my clients, everyone will ask me, especially right now, like, so do I have to give up alcohol? I'm like, no. Okay, listen, you do not have to give up alcohol.
Let's not get ridiculous. You want to take this water and splash it right in your face like this, right there.
No, but I feel like there's and I think that's also too why people sometimes get scared to want to have a trainer or what it might be, because they think they're just going to restrict everything off.
Absolutely.
Like, no, like, if you, but it's moderation. If you drink regular beer, maybe try a light beer. If you like those like sugary, like cocktail drinks, maybe try like a White Claw, Truly, Henry's, like one of those drinks, vodka sodas, Patron with like a sparkling flavored ice.
Figure it out.
Yeah, you can easily make something, and again, it's in moderation. But
Yeah,
of course,
it's not a, you know, a 12 pack, you know, or a
yeah,
6 pack, right? It's common sense too.
yeah, right. And like, if you want a pizza, have a slice of pizza, you know. And again, I love my fitness pal, so it's like, just track it. If you're gonna drink, just track your calories. So if you gave yourself 1,200 calories today, well, 200 of them went to the Patron. It went to the Patron. It is what it is. Like,
Right.
just try to do the rest of the day better. And if you mess up a day, you mess up a day. We all do. You know, you snack a little extra. You went to the kitchen a little bit more. Like,
Absolutely.
not the end of the world. It's fine, you know, like it just doesn't, you don't have to blow your whole month or life just because you made a few errors. Like, it's not a big deal. It's all fine.
So I want to go back to you because with your skin then, because a lot of people, I think, want to lose a lot of weight too. They're afraid of even what they're going to conform to after they lose that weight. For one is wardrobe. I won't be able to afford to change my entire wardrobe if I lose 50 pounds, hypothetically. I also think a lot of people are like, when I do lose weight, my belly, it's going to flap over, right? Or my chest, whatever the case, is going to look this way, men and women. My arms are going to look, I'm going to have, you know, all these different, I don't have to get into them, stretch marks. So some people, I think, get nervous that they don't want to lose weight because they'll look worse than they actually are. And I also think cost-wise, if I have to go have a skin grafting type surgery, how much money is that going to cost me as well? So when you think about losing weight, it actually sounds almost worse than being heavy, if that makes sense. How did you go through that transition?
For a lot of people. So for instance, when I had first gained my weight, like when I was 215, 250 and had lost some weight, I didn't have any loose skin at that time. It was still tight.
Okay.
My loose skin happened because I was up, down, and then went up, and then back down. So most people that are at just like a normal overweight, as they lose the weight, it'll be able to firm up.
That conforms. Yeah. Use creams. I get it. Right.
For me, like, I was up, down, and then hit the 300. By that time, as I started to lose weight, I honestly didn't even notice that it was loose skin until I went down to about 190, and I was like, okay, that's not bouncing back, but lifting. So yes, I had loose skin. Because I did it slowly, though, it wasn't as bad as I've seen other pictures of people with the loose skin, but it was something that I knew I was going to want to get removed. Some people are like fine with things like that, but for me, I was like, I wanted to be a personal trainer, and I think that was a part of why I wanted to get the skin removed. Because if you're going to be a personal trainer, in some portions, I would like to somewhat look the part, right? I want to be able to do those things. If I didn't want to be a personal trainer, I don't necessarily know if I would have removed the skin as soon as I did, but I think it was the career choice that I went towards.
Yes.
But then with the skin removal, again, it's recovery. But I looked at myself as like a car payment, right? I was worth it. So every month, I'm basically making a car payment on myself.
Okay. What did that end up costing? What did that cost for you?
$20,000. I had my an arm. So we did the arm, and then we went back in to come a little bit further to take armpit. I had a breast augmentation, so a lift. And I had an upper body, lower body lift. So they did my stomach area. The only thing I basically didn't do was my inner thighs.
Gotcha.
Everything from the top up, the back, I got taken care of.
Wow. How long to recover from that? Or did you just do it in sections?
No, he did it all at once. So it was about a 6-week recovery. So I almost feel like I had to kind of have this quarantine isolation in October, where I basically was home all the time for 6 weeks, because you don't really have that much energy either, because you're recovering. You don't realize how much that takes out of you. Just doing 20 minutes of just getting up and walking around, you're exhausted. So for about 6 weeks, you're at home taking it easy. And then you're allowed to kind of go and slowly get back into working out, walking on the treadmill, small lifting, listening to your body really of what's going to tire you out or not.
Right.
I didn't know I was going to have to go back in and do a little bit more on my arm. But when we saw, we were like, you know what? I still had some there. to take it down. So I had to go back in January to take off some more loose skin. So we did go back just to take a little bit more off.
Did you do any liposuction or anything like that?
I didn't need any liposuction.
Okay.
So part of one thing that my husband used to always tell me, we used to fight with him a little bit on it, was you need to lift. I always thought if I lifted, I had the misconception that I was going to look like, you know, one of the strongmen, one of the Arnold competition guys, right? Like
Sure.
big and buff. And I was like, I don't want that. Like if I lift, that's what's going to happen.
No.
And he's like, babe, you have to, like, that's a whole part of the losing weight. Like that helps. And I did, of course, listen to him, you know,
Right.
and he's completely right. But with all that lifting, that helped a lot with the not needing the liposuction at the time too. And the skin not being as loose as someone may have had with that type of weight loss that I did.
Gotcha. Yeah. Cause you're building muscle besides just losing weight. I mean,
yeah. So I was luckily I didn't have to have the liposuction. So that was great. We just did the skin. He moved about 10 pounds of loose skin. Yeah.
That's 10 pounds of loose skin is unbelievable.
Yeah, so
I have a friend as well. She's a female, younger girl, Sarah. I don't want to, whatever. I'm not going to say her last name. I'd love to get her on a podcast. She also lost a lot of weight, and she's a wonderful young lady. And she would show me, she showed me before and after pictures of her weight loss. I never knew she was, and I'm sure people with you never even realized you were that person. It's almost like that was another person, right? Where they're like, you're full of shit.
Yeah, they'll be like, nah, and then they'll see a photo and they're like, oh my God, I can't believe that. Or a lot of people too didn't even realize I had the loose skin I did. Because in general, when you have weight issues, you learn clothes to buy and what's to wear and what looks good. So, and I was always wearing a kind of like a Spanx underneath. So even with the loose skin, people were like, no, you didn't have that much. I was like, you just wait, because I'm going to show a before. Like, so you just wait and see what I've been kind of working with under there. But it's true. Like people kind of get amazed, like, no, that's not you. And you're like, no, it is. So yeah.
I lost like say 50 pounds, but I didn't do it. I just wanted to always be heavy and strong. And then I hit the point where I said, I'm sweating to death. I could go up 2 flights of stairs. I had to lay down. I felt like it's a joke, but I was like, and I always was. And I think age has a lot to do with that too, right? So one of the things I was going to ask you too is I think a lot of people wait too long to lose weight. And as you can tell, a lot of men have bellies, elderly men. And I think women too, especially if they've had some children and stuff, the longer you wait, I don't think they realize, in my opinion, sometimes the harder it is to really get your body back into the shape it should be in or that you want it to be in, right? They kind of drag ass a little bit, I think.
Well, I think too, a lot of it has to do with your metabolism shift. So like, the longer you wait, I mean, I will say, even though my cousin, she's got the most amazing metabolism. She can eat whatever she wants, never gains a pound.
That's real.
She says it's a curse though, because she's probably eating unhealthy, you know, because you don't realize it.
Yes.
But it is, for most people, the longer you wait, the older we get. And most women too, after you have kids, your body just changes completely. Whatever metabolism, whatever your body, you're not the same person that you were before. So no matter what, I think sometimes just having kids, in general, just makes it harder. So it's like you have to work a little bit harder, but now you're even busier. So it's finding that balance in time, and finding time is in like finding time for you, that you're just as important as everything else going on around you. So working out and getting yourself into that, feeling better too, it's for you to keep a long life, healthy life for you with your kids, the family, and just kind of taking care of yourself, even if it's just a little bit of yoga for 15 minutes a day, you know?
Yeah, mine was like at 35, I said, 250 is not good anymore for you, my friend. People don't pay attention to what's going on. Right? My arm was getting numb. Like I said, I'm being winded, even though I work out 5 days a week and I can lift a lot of weight at that point in time. And I could still do cardio. I could go play basketball and those things, but I could just tell something's not working. So then I had to lose, say I dropped down to 230, then I hit 40. I'm like, let's put the brakes on here. I think I need to lose some more weight, even though it's hard because you have an identity of being big and strong, and people start to think you're sick because you're losing this weight. And then at about 45, I dropped down to 200 pounds, 195, where I'm at now. And I mean, I feel like I sometimes look back like I was a different person, but like I feel like I got a monkey off my back too. I hated losing all that muscle mass and that strength, but at the same time, I look down. It's almost like I'm hollow when right? I'm sure you went through that too. You can't even. You're looking down, and it's an entirely different image. And you look in the mirror, you're like, what the hell?
Well, it's completely new. Like I almost have to get used to my body. And again, right now too, since this, like I literally have just hit almost my 6 month mark since I started my surgery. My body continues to change. When
Absolutely.
my waist was very square, and I couldn't even touch my abs. So now I
Mm.
can start to work on abs again. But now I'm starting to see kind of like my waist start to curve in.
Yeah.
Now I'm starting to see some difference in my arms, but it's still a process too. And as I'm looking in the mirror, I'm like, you're getting used to this new body and appreciating your new scars, because of course I have stretch marks.
Sure.
And now I'm appreciating that the scars I have scars down my arm, behind my back, the lower waistline. And it's like, I have to be proud of those scars because that shows where I've been.
Yeah.
And I need to not worry so much about having to hide them like I used to feel like with my body before, is being confident and feeling good about what I went through, and almost like they're battle scars. Like, it's cool, like stretch marks, stretch marks. I still have loose skin on my inner thigh. It's fine. Like, that's me now. And this is my body, and I'm proud of it.
Yeah, your body's constantly evolving, I tell people, no matter what. And even if you do the same type of workout, as time goes on, you're going to see, because again, depending on your sleep, your food, all these different types of things, no one stays basically the same. It's always, like I said, it's evolving. And I tell people all the time, try different exercises, because a lot of times people hit the wall, they flatline, sick of doing the same type of yoga routine. They're sick of walking, or they're sick of cycling or running or whatever. It gets bored after a certain amount of time. But by changing your exercises up is also going to change the way your body evolves, right? It could be
Yeah, it's like you have to shock the system. It's like a little shock to the system when you switch it up for a second, and
yeah.
results for
And
sure.
you got to give it time. Like if you start something new, if you've never done Pilates, don't
Yeah.
just because 6 months, don't think you're going to all of a sudden look a certain way. It may take you, a couple of years. I even tell people at 50, they're always like, Rich, I want to get in the shape you're at. I'm like, dude, I started at 5 years old. Like I never stopped working out, doing athletic, like till now. It would be like somebody in business who's been in business 30 years and me going to somebody who's say doing real estate going, yeah, I want to be like you in business, right? It's kind of like, I'm not saying you can't come close or you can't look like me necessarily, and it's not going to take a lifetime to do it, but it may take more than a year. It may take a couple years at 50 years old to get into the shape you want to get into. But it's kind of, again, a journey you got to realize, and figuring out what works best for you. Over the years, figured out what's best for me.
Yeah. And even for me right now, I mean, one thing that I'm going to be focusing on is my flexibility. I have the worst flexibility. And then I'm also working, since I haven't really been able to do much with my core, I really have to work on my balance. So also with like sharing my journey with people, it's that I'm still on that journey. Like, I'm not done, and I will never be done. And
There's the answer right there. You're never done.
you're never done.
Yes.
So yeah. So I'm consistently going to continue to work on myself. And that's why I became an online personal trainer too, because what's different with what I do, it's a company called Kickoff, is that you provide routines for people at home. So it's based on whatever they have. You could use whatever equipment they have, and instead of just watching a video, because I used to do that too, but sometimes I couldn't do what they were doing, or I didn't have what they had. So you customize it based on the person. But on top of that, you help give them nutritional support. So I don't have a Pinterest. I love Pinterest, and the clients I have Pinterest. So it's perfect. I'll do a private account, and I send them, based on what food they like and what we've discussed, ideas on what to meal plan, things they can buy for grocery, and things that I would use when I was trying to figure out what to make myself for breakfast, lunch, dinner, what snacks. If I like dessert, no, I'm not going to give up dessert. I have dessert with every meal, because for me, that's how I grew up. Meal wasn't finished without dessert. So I have a sweet tooth. So what desserts can you eat? And then too, you can chat with people. So every day you do check-ins with them, and you see how they are. And do they need a quick phone call? Do you need a Zoom chat? Do you want to do a Zoom workout with me? So it provides that additional support, that maybe you couldn't always get, or especially if you didn't want to step into a gym, or now we can't, but in the future too, like if you don't want to step into a gym, or
Absolutely.
you don't have time and you don't have a dedicated time or day that you could do it, it's the perfect way to go about it.
Yeah, that's fair. You're kind of ahead of the curve, I think, a little bit with that concept, especially with a time like now.
Yeah.
It's probably works perfectly for you. But
Which is crazy because when I started it, this was not even a thought. I had
right.
literally I just launched it like the beginning of March, because that's where I felt like, okay, I feel like I'm pretty done recovering, or at a good place that I could start doing this. And then all of a sudden, this sort of happened. So it's fairly new that I even kind of launched it with beginning of March, and then this happened pretty much right away. But I did gain a few clients that were kind of looking for that additional support and kind of that contact.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I discuss a lot of different things with, I knew so many trainers, and I used to goof around. I go, you realize your job is to weed these people out of your life to be independent. And they're like, hey, keep that on the down low. I mean, it's a joke.
But
I think in your case, it's kind of different, because trainers, as you know, I mean, depending, both schedules have to always work. You got to go somewhere. But you're more than a trainer. It seems like you're kind of a support as well, besides just somebody who goes to a gym for an hour, right? Or somebody hires somebody.
I check in on them every day. If they need to reach out to me anytime, like I said, if the phone call, face to face, whatever you need, that's kind of what I'm here for. And the emotional support, because I think the biggest part is having that support system, support with like a little nudge, right? Like you're not gonna
huge.
Yeah, like that little nudge, like, okay, but I think having somebody also be accountable for you is helpful.
Absolutely.
Most of my clients, we've linked up my Fitness Pal or Apple Watches, so I could see their calorie burn every day. I could see their nutrition every day.
You're on their ass.
Yeah, so I can send them a note of like,
good.
Great. And I always say, like, just be honest with me.
Yeah.
If you have a day, you have a day. If you have a week, you may get a little more than a nudge, but I'm just here to support you, and I think the support and the nutrition advice is sometimes almost more helpful than the workout, because
a workout's short.
Yeah, the
easiest part of the day is a workout. I said that's an hour and a half.
Exactly, but it's like what people say, it's what you eat for the next 23 hours, right?
Exactly.
You just like knew, right? You worked out so hard, but you weren't necessarily seeing the results that you were seeing because you were eating nutrition.
Yes.
It's all about the nutrition. And same with me, like sometimes I would work out really hard and be like, what's going on? Oh, I'm overeating my healthy calories, or, things like that. So the tracking has helped. And also just, again, the support from family too is just super helpful. So.
Yeah, that's wonderful. I also tell a lot of people, listen, you, like we were saying earlier, you have more information, 100 times more information than we ever had in our youth. I'm dating myself, but between YouTube, Instagram, I mean, so many different people, television, there's so much information. Studying too is very important. Go out there, besides just listening to you hypothetically and doing a workout, go and research different types, again, of exercises, or just learn about fitness in general or nutrition. That's going to go so long, but they don't do that a lot of times. But I get it sometimes could be boring, but you just got to find fun, type of things to research. Besides, because when we grew up, it was magazines and books, right? For the most part.
It was like going to the library.
Yeah.
Like if you had a question, it wasn't like, oh, I'm going to look it up. Oh, the library opens on Monday. We'll go find the answer, and doing things like that. So I think a lot of things are accessible. And I think one good things about trainers that support is it's that starting point. It gives you like a ground zero, because most people just don't know where to begin.
Yes.
So, okay, here you go. Here's like a game plan. And it's and that's where it is, like, use that game plan and build that on your knowledge. Like, this is something you're going to be doing lifelong. Like, you want this to be something that you know and love, and learning more things too, and incorporating that into your life too.
I call like working out. Each workout's like a deposit in the bank. It's like putting money in the bank, right? It's kind of funny, but you keep putting little deposits in. Eventually, it's going to build up to be something. If you don't work out, you keep kind of pulling it out, right? Every time you don't pay attention, because, fitness is everything, or your health is everything. without it, you're nothing. A lot of people don't realize that, especially younger people. And then this goes for people I know that lifted heavy weights as well or worked out really hard, including myself, that I realized I was damaging my body after a certain amount of time, right? My tendons, joints, muscles, I talk about it. It's kind of like I wasn't a professional athlete, but if you look at a lot of athletes, a lot of them in their middle age, they could barely walk. Their knees are shot, their hips are, you know, the surgeries they've had. You got to really pay attention to the signals too. Like a third of my workouts warming up and stretching now, because even though I was heavy, I had flexibility. I tell people, man, just use stretching. Start with a stretch at your house. You know what I mean? And just going for a walk. And you'd be shocked. I talk about this with my cousin. He lost 50 pounds just walking a few extra miles a night and backing up a little on his portions. Then before you know it, then he decided to go play tennis and do something else physical. It's all those little deposits that are going to help you keep moving forward. Doesn't have to be somebody who has to go to a gym immediately. Hire a trainer, go on a diet, go do a show, go run a marathon. It's, you know what I mean? That's the extreme.
Yeah, it's starting simple. Like you see, and that's why too, because also too, I would try like those workout videos, and sometimes I was like, oh my gosh, like it would almost deter you because you feel almost demotivated because you couldn't do so much of it.
Correct.
That's why I think it's great what you said. Just start simple. You can start with a small walk, like get up for 15 more minutes in the day than you did before. Like stretching. Yes, the warm up and the cool down of stretching is so just as important as the workout in itself, where you will injure yourself. You won't get the flexibility, and you're going to be more a bad sore, not good sore. But that's a great way to put it. Like you don't have to start extreme. Start slow, start at your pace, and you build up to extreme. And even then, even when I would start, because again, when I was at home, I didn't really have anything to work out with. I would try to do like the high knees, in place. But I'm like, my high knees weren't high. They were low knees. They were ankle knees. Like it was like going down, but it's wherever you have to start. Don't be discouraged just because that person you're watching is doing it high and fast. That person's been doing it forever. Like they're going to be high and fast. You start where you are and it's okay. You're doing it. So be happy that you even did it and completed it at whatever pace is good for you.
Right. I used to, this is kind of an insult, but I don't care. I hung out with all my buddies. They're like lawyers, some PhDs, they're doctors. And I grew up with a lot of my buddies. And then what I found interesting is they would always be like, Rich, why are you getting all these results? And we never get this type of result. Or, you got genetics and this and that. I go, well, working out's a dumb man's game. And I used to go for around with them. But when they would think about working out, they made too much into it. And even while they were working out, they're contemplating, am I doing the right movement? Am I doing this? What time should I work out? If I'm not doing this, it's wrong. I'm not doing this. I'm like, just work out. Don't talk your way in or out of it. You want to work out that day? Get in the car and go work out. Don't contemplate, go, I don't feel like going now, but I got to do this before I do that. If I do that, how many calories am I going to burn? My heartbeat got to be this. And what result am I getting? Do I pyramid up? Do I do a giant set? Should I superset? I'm like, just work out. Start somewhere. And even while you're working out, don't get caught up in it. Just keep moving forward and figuring it out. But a lot of people, like I was just telling you, they just they're looking at social media. They may be looking at videos of people younger. They're embarrassed, or that's too advanced, or this is that. There's always an issue or a problem. You just got to start, right? I mean,
that was me. Like back in the day, that's how it was. I don't know if you ever did the Tybo videos. Right?
Yeah, I remember watching them. I never did that.
Okay, well, think about being like 250, 300 pounds. And I had like Tybo video, and the P90X.
That's a beast. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So here I am, like, I'm dying, I'm dead. But like, I remember I stuck with Tybo and I would do those videos a lot when I was the first kind of going down. But I remember getting stronger. I remember like, what is this leg raise? My leg isn't going to do anything, But also too, I remember the P90 like completely discouraged me. Where it was like, I can't do this, like it's too much. So I was that person.
Sure, but you went and did it.
I was trying to take it to the extreme,
yes.
And then would get demotivated until it was like, Amber, just do it, just finish it, But it took a while to get in that mind space too.
And it's not going to be perfect. You may never be perfect doing certain things, right? It may take years to, like in yoga, if you want to become something, It's going to take a lot of work and time.
Yeah,
But
like I know Pilates is something that I'll want to get into, but right now, if I my first class of Pilates, I would be dying. Like my leg is not going to go. Like it's gonna be probably very funny if I got taped doing it. And even some of the workouts I do now, like I'm also still getting my strength back, so I can't lift even as heavy as I was pre this. But and that's also why I like to share things. Like the journey is real, the struggle's real, and it takes time and consistency to build up on it. But it's also the biggest what I didn't know before, because like I said, I'm addicted to cigarettes, addicted to food, and I always told myself, if I could be addicted to unhealthy things, can't I be addicted to something healthy?
I
Like,
always said the same thing. I
yeah, so
gave up cigars and I went to smoothies. Just
right
saying,
there,
right? I'm just using one example.
like
It may
so
not be the same, but it's something.
exactly. So it's like, let me get a different addiction. And so that's, I mean, everything is mental. So the mindset was, I need to get addicted to working out. And that doesn't mean working out 5 million hours a day. I
Sure.
started working out at 30 minutes, maybe 45 minutes,
Yeah.
and now I'll work out an hour to an hour and a half sometimes too, because me and my husband will work out together. But it's finding your groove. And now I am addicted to working out. Like if I go a week or I don't hit my 5 days in the week, I feel different.
Mm.
I'm more moody. I feel like it just helps with my anxiousness, anxiety, and it just calms me. And instead of turning towards food, which
Yeah.
would have been where I would turn in the past to try to feel this way, which is only about while you're eating, you only feel that good in the moment.
Yeah.
Then you're done eating and you're like, what did I just do? So it's like that constant versus no, I always feel like you never regret a workout. When you're done working out, you've never regretted doing it.
No, you feel great
Yeah,
for the
you
most part. I mean, you don't feel whatever. You should be tired or exhausted, whatever. But yeah.
like you might be tired, but you don't regret doing it. You feel like you've accomplished something, and it's baby steps, and every one little mark in the day of an accomplishment or whatever it might be. I think especially in times like that are going on right now, could be helpful for some. And right now, honestly, everyone is probably extra snacking, and that's okay too. I mean, this is a
Yeah.
different. No one expected the
Yes.
COVID.
Everyone's got to figure their own route here. I said some people are going to get heavier. Some people are going to get more fit.
Yeah,
People are going to learn what they're doing right and maybe wrong, and having clarity to figure things
so it's
out.
fine. If your body changes a little bit during this or a lot, it's fine. And whatever it is, when it's your time, it's your time. You have to be ready. But however, this especially the situation going on right now, however anyone wants to handle it is kind of how it's going to be. But that there is support online or things that people can do if they want to work out or start to get healthy or start on that path now versus later, that those options are available.
Yeah, and I think once this ends, I think a lot of people should also realize working out sometimes too could be a really great social,
Yes.
like it could just be something where if you're, a lot of people are alone that want to work out and they don't want to go to a gym, they're intimidated, or, they're afraid to say, go join a runner's club, cycling club, or whatever the case may be, but don't be. There's a lot of people that want to work out, that want, to get around healthy people. But I promise, I tell people all the time, healthy people want to help other people get healthy. They're not there to intimidate you. They're not there to hurt you, right? But if you
But
never,
it's scary. Like
yeah,
I get that. Like I said, for the first couple of years, I wouldn't go to an actual gym. I felt like I had to be more in shape to go to the gym. Like
that's
that's
like most people, yes.
yeah. So I get that like intimidation factor. Because when you see someone in person, you don't know their backstory. And a lot of those trainers have probably a not maybe not exactly like mine, but similar to mine.
Sure.
They probably had some weight issues. Some no, but some yes. But you don't know that when you first meet people, and when you see them just physically, it's very intimidating. So I do get that, but I almost wish I could go back to my former self and be like, Amber, like, stop it. What are you doing? Like, it's not a big deal. Like, just go to the gym. It's fine, but
Yeah, and most people in a gym are in the middle, right?
yeah,
And they're not. They make jokes about it, Planet Fitness, like every gym, like LA Fitness, 24 Hour Fit, like they're all jocks and they're all huge. That's not the case at all.
not at all. Like, my husband works for Lifetime Fitness, and we go there, and there's all shapes and sizes.
It's a
All
family-orientated gym.
yeah, you have kids, you have older people, and you have everybody doing group workouts together, working on their own, and no one's judging you. It's all in your head. Like, and I think that's what it is. Like, it's all in your head of what you think other people's perceptions are. And it is
Absolutely.
no, but everyone's worried about themselves at the gym, and so, yeah, I kind of wish I could get my former self in there to be like, Amber, but then my journey wouldn't be what it was if.
Yeah, you kind of want to edit alone. And there's a lot of people that do that. Maybe you had but back to social, there's so many opportunities, I think, for people to meet great people. And also once you fall into being around people that are fit, like you're saying, like yourself, you motivate people to stay fit, right? Instead of a lot of, you don't quit. Like a lot of people, as you know, join a gym, they quit. They join a gym. They go in there by themselves, put their headphones on. They kind of work out. They may be intimidated or they may get bored. But by getting involved with social groups, again, it could be yoga, it could be classes, it could be whatever. I've realized that, like I'm going to go work out because I want to go talk to this one about whatever. I can't wait to see her. She just had a baby. I'm going to talk to her. Hey, this guy just, he's going to Hawaii. I want to talk to him, or whatever the case may be. It's more than just working out. It's like you said, a lifestyle, but it's fun. I think people got to realize, learn how to make working out fun. If you're not having fun, it's,
If you're not having fun, it doesn't matter. And at first, don't get me wrong, though. At first, it's probably not going to be that much fun, and that's okay. Like the first,
sure.
a little bit in the beginning, it's not, but that's what I mean. Then you find what you do, and I noticed a lot of people, like a lot of my friends, well, like the group class, like you said, because like a camaraderie, like you find other people similar to you. And a lot of my friends are mothers, so they find other mothers, and
Sure.
they find other friendships, and you have your like gym friends and things like that. So it also has that piece to it too. So
Yeah,
yeah.
and I like that you get to meet all different age brackets too. Like, and don't you? I love young guys that hit me up on my YouTube channel. All these different guys. Then I have older people too. It's
Yeah.
sometimes we get caught only kind of hanging with people that are either our kids' friends or at a certain time in our life or middle age or family members. But you go do workouts or do different thing, and you're always learning from them as well, right? They're sharing.
Yeah, no, it's so true. Like I said, no matter what you do, no matter what career, whatever it might be, you're always learning. Like if you stop learning, that's
Absolutely.
wrong with anything that you're doing. So, and you learn from each other. The biggest thing you do is learning from anyone. And that's even for me, like that's learning from a client who's just starting out. You learn things still, like you learn from each other.
Absolutely. I've been watching all these YouTube videos on totally different style bodybuilding, like lifting weights. And a lot of things, and I used to say this too, that we thought we were doing incorrectly are actually the right way just for a different body part, if that makes sense. But
No,
like,
totally makes sense.
yeah, so I'm doing all these different workouts and I'm getting destroyed. Because as much as you think I know so much less, I guess. I don't know nearly, like you think you master a gym, all this equipment. I know how to do this, doing it your whole life. Then you're looking at other videos going, what the hell's going on here? I didn't know any of this. You could do this with a dumbbell. You could do this on that piece of equipment. You could incorporate this with that. And
Yeah.
it's an adventure, I guess you could say. So.
Well, no, that's what I'm learning right now because since we were going to the gym so much, we got our house like almost like 2 years ago, right? But anything that we had gym wise, we still kind of put to the side. So now we opened up whatever we have. I was like, we have resistance bands. We have like, we have. I'm like, there's so many things that you could be doing. We have a jump rope, which is not as easy as it was when we were kids. Like I used to be able to skip on that. So I'm like, there's so many different things, but that's also, I feel like made me stronger, not only as a trainer, but as my own workouts too, seeing especially with what everyone has going on of how do you take what you have? How do you use your sofa? How do you use this? Like there's so many avenues that you could do with your workouts.
Yeah.
But I'm also like I'm trying to get a little bit more advanced. So we bought what do you call it? Now I can't even think of the Olympic weightlift.
Okay.
So we just ordered a PVC pipe because I want to learn how to like overhead squats and with those. But that's something that is going to take time and learn and try and develop the skill and whatnot too. But it's like you could also do that in your garage. There's so many different things and skills, and we're reading, I forget the name of the book, but this book about strength training in proper form with just like squats. And I even realized my squats I had completely improper form, and that's why my back would hurt sometimes. So it's little things like that, and being able to look in the mirror and know, always grow and read and learn, and
and creativity, like you're going through. And the truth is, I just did a podcast with my buddy Robert, and we talked about what's the future of fitness now, because things may change. I don't know for sure. Who knows what's going to happen with gyms hypothetically, or what's going to happen with groups of people, or I don't know. So it's very interesting. You're taking on, no matter what happens, you're still independently teaching yourself how to evolve and go through this and stay in shape, keep the weight off, which is a
Yeah,
great thing.
I think it may go into a lot more digital training if this continues. So I feel like me doing the online training with Train with Kickoff is great because it's already an avenue for people because we're hoping, I know here in Texas, it got extended to May 20th.
Okay. Yeah.
It got extended to May 20th. So I'm assuming it'll probably be at the end of May. So you just don't know how much longer. And it's some sort of a connection with the human, not just a video. So at least through digital, you can have exactly like Zoom. Like I could be talking to a client this way. We could be working out together.
Sure.
Things like that. And I think that's what people might start to miss if this continues too. Like just some sort of human interaction with somebody different and somebody that is there for support and help you out too. So this could end up being somewhat of a future lifestyle for even gyms too, to start to move things somewhat digitally because they may have to too.
Yeah. And I also think people are going to realize how, you want to go to the gym a lot of times, you don't go. Well, now that it closed, you appreciate that you had the opportunity to go to a gym whenever you wanted, especially like a 24-hour fitness, right? Because we kind of grew up in a lot of places. I couldn't even find a gym in the 70s, unless it was a YMCA, or the 80s and it closed.
YMCA, yeah.
Yeah. So, but in this case, like if you better, I think people are like, wow, I need to take care of myself, even going through a pandemic. Like, what type of shape am I truly in? Even though I work out, am I really in good shape? Or the people that aren't working out, like, are they going to get more obese? Like, I think people are becoming more health conscious, is what I should say, more than ever going through this, right? Kind of exposing everyone for who they truly are, right?
I think people are noticing how much more, because when you're busy, you don't focus on food as much, right?
Yeah.
When you're sitting at home now, it's so easy to get up and snack. So I think what people are noticing is you just end up eating more because you're snacking more. Versus like when a lot of times when you're at work, it's like, here's breakfast, lunch, and I come home for dinner because that's all I have time for. And sometimes you don't even have time for lunch in some people's, line of work. So now you're home, now there's all this food available and you don't mean to, but you keep going back for some popcorn or some chips and all of a sudden the bag's gone,
Yeah.
I think that's even myself, I definitely had a couple of days where I was like, oh my God, is that whole box gone? I swear that wasn't me, but who else can I blame it on, So I definitely think we're in that realm right now.
Yeah, and spending money on yourself regarding fitness, I talk about it all the time. Like even the average gym is say $30 to $50, not lifetime. That's obviously a little higher end.
Yeah.
But for the most part, and you can also go to Planet Fitness for $10.
Yeah.
But my point being is that's the cheapest thing that you can get the most out of if you think about it.
Yeah.
Like I've been paying $30 for a gym since the 80s. That's $1 a day. What do you blow on Starbucks? What do you blow on cigarettes or drinks? What do you blow on bullshit all over the place?
Yeah.
Now that, like I said, a gym or something is taken away from you, you realize how much of that is, how much you were actually getting out of that, because now you may not feel as good. You may feel shittier or whatever. Like, God, all those workouts. I had also accessibility, say in LA Fitness or 24-hour fitness. I could go to a sauna. I had a pool. I had a jacuzzi. Some have a steam room. I had all this equipment. I meet all my friends. I could play racquetball. All these things are taken away from you for like $30 a month. That's kind of the best entertainment going, but you lose that.
Yeah.
And I think that's going to also kind of wake a lot of people up to say, wow, I really, to stay in shape, I really had a lot of things going. I just had more opportunity to do a lot more. Now I don't have it. I got to sit at home or just run or right.
When I was talking to my husband, and I think he's on the phone with his boss, we were saying like, we really feel like the gyms are going to be packed when everyone can go back out, because I really think that people are going to, for one, people that were already going to the gym are just going to get back into it. And for people that maybe haven't yet are going to be craving some sort of social interaction too, right? Which will get it back out. Like I think gyms especially will be in a good place hopefully after this, which only will hopefully make people feeling better about themselves too when all this is over, or even during this time too, just finding some sort of workouts at home to do.
And for a personal point of view too, I think people that were like that love to work out, they figured out a way how to keep working out, right? The ones that were on the fence, kind of, that aren't working out, are going to realize, you know, if they gain weight or whatever, like, wow, like I was saying earlier, this is very important. And the people that were kind of, I guess you could say, just kind of being lazy all the time, like you're explaining, like, wow, I need to get in better shape, because now I've even gotten heavier, right? I've gotten more out of shape.
Yeah. And those were the few clients that I picked up, were the ones that were like, you know what? It's almost like I have no excuse. I have time, so let me get started. I don't want to feel like this when I'm at home, like, cause you're already feeling bad at just not getting, and the ones that I picked up have told me, I just don't want to feel bad because right now I already feel bad. So at least I can have this and feel better about myself while you're at home and in self-isolation.
Yeah, and getting out just in general. Because I think a lot of people say Netflix, or they always wanted to get home to do all these things. Now they're burnt out on those things.
Yeah,
Maybe,
I can't watch Tiger. I don't know if you've seen Tiger King, but I can't Tiger King or Love is Blind, like it's already done. So yeah.
Yeah, you can only do so much at home. Maybe this will inspire people, like you're saying. It's a New Year's resolution, I call it, where people all hit the gyms at one time.
And now you can, like, I think now it's even then at home, there's so many things you could do at home. And when the gyms do reopen, you can find that there's so much to do at the gyms, but you can have we talked about, you can do different things. It doesn't always have to be at the gym. It can be at home. You can find different avenues. So it's not just a regimented same thing every single time.
Absolutely.
So that way it becomes fun,
That's awesome. All right. Tell them where they could find you and stuff.
So, well, you can definitely on my Instagram. It's ambers.fitnessjourney on Instagram. And through there, you can get my link on how to train with me at kickoff.
Oh, nice. All right. Well, I'm going to wrap it up there, my dear. Thank you so much for being a guest on the show. It's awesome.
Thank you for having me so much. And please tell Rhea I said hello.
I'll tell her, and then I'll obviously share this stuff with you. I'll let you know when I posted it. I'll send you some information just so you get to review it before I even do, as far as subject and title and all that stuff. We'll kind of collaborate on that too. So.
Oh, no, that's perfect. Thank you so much.
All right. It was nice meeting you. I'll see you in the future if I go to Texas.
Right. Yeah. It's very nice to talk to you.
All right. Take care.
Bye.